Let's talk about selling a home in Wyoming, Michigan. This is the lowest priced major submarket in the Grand Rapids metro, and the typical listing here goes pending in about 12 days. In this brief, pricing to your comps, what buyers in this band actually pay for, condition, and when to list. Start with who your buyer is, because the geography sets it. Wyoming sits directly southwest of downtown Grand Rapids, about 15 minutes out, with US 131 down the east side, M6 across the south end, and 28th Street cutting straight through the middle. You're selling to buyers priced out of the city, to households moving laterally from Granville and Kentwood, and to investors, all in the same weekend. Here's the number that shapes everything else. A Wyoming listing goes pending in a median of about 12 days. Byron Center, straight south down the same 131 corridor, runs 31. Same county, same rates, more than 2.5 times the wait. Be careful what you take from that. 12 days is what correctly priced homes do. It is not what your house does automatically. Buyers shopping this price band know it cold, and an overpriced Wyoming listing doesn't read as ambitious to them. It reads like a problem house. Which brings us to comps. Pull what actually closed in the last 90 days and filter hard. Same era, same square footage band, same district. That last filter matters more here than almost anywhere else in the metro. 5 districts serve pieces of this city: Wyoming Public Schools, Godwin Heights, Godfrey Lee, Kelloggsville, and Granville. And those boundaries do not follow the city line. Your neighbor 3 streets over may be selling into a different comp set entirely. Here's the ground you're standing on. Wyoming is a city of roughly 79,000 people, the second largest in Kent County. So turnover here is deep, and your buyer pool is genuinely wide. The typical house is valued near $290,000. Listings go pending in about 12 days, and downtown Grand Rapids is 15 minutes away. On price, the typical Wyoming home is valued around $290,000, against a Kent County median of $335,000. That $45,000 gap is your demand engine. It's why showings here run deep. It is not a number you get to add back on. And depending on which source you pull, closed sales cluster anywhere from the low 260s up to that figure, so walk into your pricing conversation with a band, not a single number. Know what your buyer toured before they walked into your house. The Highlands at Rivertown Park is delivering new townhomes off Ivanrest through the end of this year, listed from the mid-300s. And on 28th Street, Hawm Flats is putting up a 200-unit third phase, which brings that one project to nearly 600 units when it finishes. New finishes and new supply both set the bar your listing gets measured against. So, what do Wyoming buyers pay up for? At this price point, it isn't finishes for their own sake. It's risk removal. 5 things, over and over: a roof, furnace, and water heater with real life left. A dry basement you can document. A kitchen and bath touched this decade. Updated windows and a modern electrical panel. And a garage with off-street parking. Hit 4 of those 5 and you list at the top of your comp set. Now condition. And here's the Wyoming-specific part. The median home in this city was built in 1969, and better than 4 in 10 houses here went up between the 40s and the 60s. That's capes, ranches, and split levels. A lot of them still running original mechanicals. Service the furnace and keep the invoice. Get ahead of the basement instead of hiding it. Replace a known problem electrical panel and put every receipt in one folder. Buyers in this band are not afraid of an older house. They're afraid of deferred maintenance they can't price. And here's the frame a buyer's agent brings to your kitchen table. Granville, Kentwood, and the city of Grand Rapids all sit above you on typical home value. And Wyoming comes in under every one of them. That's your advantage on traffic and your ceiling on price at the same time. You're the value play in this corridor, so price like it. Presentation. You don't need a renovation. You need a house that asks the buyer to make 0 decisions. Neutral paint, dated light fixtures swapped out, counters cleared, closets thinned by half, deep clean. Then put real money into the photography. Well-priced Wyoming listings routinely draw multiple offers, and most of those buyers formed an opinion on a phone screen before they ever scheduled a showing. Here's where Wyoming sellers push back on me. They want to test a higher number for a week and come down, because the market is fast enough to absorb it. But listing high and coming down later spends your single best week to learn something the closed comps already told you for free. Timing. Michigan homes listed in June sell roughly 19 days faster than the annual average, and West Michigan tracks that curve. But the bigger variable right now is money. The 30-year fixed climbed back to about 6 2/3% by the end of July, and Kent County is sitting near 1.2 months of supply, roughly a fifth of a balanced market. Thin inventory is doing more for you than the calendar is. So here's the playbook I run with Wyoming sellers. Price to close comps inside your own district, not to your neighbor's list price. Spend 2 weeks on mechanicals, paint, and photography before the sign goes in the yard. Go live midweek so your first weekend carries full traffic. Hand every buyer's agent a repair and receipt folder. And if you're past 14 days with no offer, that's price, not the market. Wyoming sells for exactly what it is. The most affordable major submarket in this metro, 15 minutes from downtown, with real public money going in around it. A $7 million pedestrian bridge opened over 28th Street in 2025, tied to about 4.5 miles of new trail running into Pinery Park and the non-motorized network. That's a story worth telling in your listing. Let's set your number and your prep list, then go win the first weekend.